Pop history was built on heartbreak, rebellion, and larger-than-life stars. But the charts also made room for pure silliness.
It's a nicer place, Shaddap You Face.
The kind of songs that sounded like a prank until the sales reports arrived. These were 12 goofy songs that became global hits. Number 12, My Ding-A-Ling by Chuck Berry.
Every time that bell would ring, catch me playing with my ding.
By the early 1970s, the rock and roll pioneer had already written the DNA of modern guitar music. On February 3, 1972, at a Coventry, England show recorded for the London Chuck Berry sessions, he leaned into a cheeky sing-along called My Ding-A-Ling, and the crowd did the rest. He was 46 years old, and that goofy live cut became his only #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, holding the top spot for 2 weeks beginning October 21, 1972. A man who influenced the Beatles and the Rolling Stones finally hit the summit with a novelty tune, and it still feels like pop history playing a joke on itself.
That bell would ring, catch me playing with my ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Number 11, The Purple People Eater by Sheb Wooley. In 1958, a working actor and singer from High, Noon stumbled into a monster story that sounded like a kid talking too fast at the breakfast table.
Had a one long horn and one big eye. I commenced a shaking and I said, ooh-wee.
The idea came from a joke told by a friend's child, and Sheb Wooley turned it into a squeaky, otherworldly record using tape speed tricks.
I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, what's your line? He said, eating purple people and it sure is fine.
Wooley was 37, and The Purple People Eater hit #1 on the Billboard Pop Chart from June 9th through July 14, 1958. It also topped charts in Canada and Australia, and it reached the UK Top 20. It was the kind of goofy smash that paved the road for later novelty staples like Monster Mash and Disco Duck.
Rockin' around, it was a crazy ditty with a swinging tune.
Number 10, Disco Duck by Rick Dees and his cast of idiots. Sometimes the biggest hit in the country started as a radio gag. In 1976, Memphis disc jockey Rick Dees was 26, and he recorded a disco parody built around a cartoonish duck voice, then watched it explode far beyond his own station and city.
All the ladies would treat me right, moving my feet to the disco beat.
Disco Duck hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on October 16, 1976, and the single sold over 4 million copies.
How in the world can I keep my seat?
The success even came with Chaos. Dees was fired after mentioning the record on air due to conflict of interest concerns.
Flapping my arms, I begin to collide. Look at me, I'm the disco.
The song later popped up in Saturday Night Fever, freezing that absurd moment in amber. Number 9, Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers.
They did the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash.
Boris Karloff-style voice, a dance craze spoof, and a Halloween hook. It sounded like a one-week gimmick.
My eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his clap began to rise.
Instead, Bobby Pickett was 24 when Monster Mash climbed to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on October 20th, 1962, just in time for costume season.
The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5.
The session was produced by Gary S. Paxton, and the record became a rare novelty that kept coming back from the dead.
They did the Monster Mash. The zombies were having fun. The party.
It re-entered the charts in 1973 and reached the top 10 again, proving its staying power was not nostalgia, it was structure. The joke, the groove, and the timing kept working, decade after decade.
The zombies were having fun.
Number 8. Witch Doctor by David Seville.
And then the witch doctor, he gave me this advice. He said that
A studio trick became a global earworm before most people even knew what tape manipulation was. In 1958, songwriter and producer Ross Bagdasarian, recording as David Seville, built Witch Doctor around a sped-up voice and nonsense syllables that sounded like a spell you could not unhear. The record hit number 1 on the Billboard Pop chart for 3 weeks, and it rescued Liberty Records from near bankruptcy. Bagdasarian was 39, and he did not stop there. That same basic technique soon powered Alvin and the Chipmunks, turning a goofy vocal effect into a lasting pop franchise that outlived entire musical eras.
my friend the witch doctor, he taught me what to say. My friend the witch doctor, he taught me what to do.
Number 7. The Streak by Ray Stevens.
Oh, yes, they call him the streak. He liked to show off his physique.
In the spring of 1974, America was deep into the streaking craze, and Ray Stevens turned it into a fake news bulletin set to a country pop group.
Of his anatomy, he gon' give us a peek. Oh, yes, they call him.
He was 35, already known for clever comedy records, and he captured the moment so cleanly that the song felt like a headline that could sing.
He likes to turn the other cheek.
The Streak spent 3 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in May 1974. It also hit number 1 on the UK singles chart for a week that June.
Was in there getting her cold drink. I hollered in there, don't look at those. It's too late, she'd done been.
The fad faded fast, but the record stayed, partly because it sounded like a time capsule of the 1970s, and partly because the punchlines landed without needing any context.
Here he comes again. Who's that with him? Ethel? Is that you?
Number 6. King Tut by Steve Martin. A museum exhibit became a pop single because the late 1970s were just like that.
People stand in line to see the boy king. How'd you get
Steve Martin was 32 when King Tut rode the national obsession with the Treasures of Tutankhamun traveling show, blending stand-up comedy, big band punch, and primetime exposure into one unlikely chart run.
he gave his life for tourism.
King Tut reached number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it spent 4 weeks at number 1 on Chicago's WLS survey.
He's my favorite honky.
The backing musicians were members of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, which gave the track real musical muscle under the joke. It was comedy with craftsmanship, and that mix is why it still plays like a classic.
Could've won a Grammy. Buried in his jammies.
Number 5. Tarzan Boy by Baltimora. A wordless jungle yell over shiny 1980s synths should not have traveled the world, but it did. Baltimora was built around producer Maurizio Bassi and singer Jimmy McShane, who was 28 when the record hit, delivering a hook so simple it felt like it bypassed language completely. Tarzan Boy reached number 3 on the UK singles chart and number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. It also became a major hit across Europe, making Baltimora one of the era's most memorable one-song exports. The track never needed deep lyrics. It had a chant, a pulse, and a feeling, and that was enough to go global. Number 4. They're Coming to Take Me Away by Napoleon XIV.
You loved me anyhow, and then the days got worse and worse, and now you see I've gone completely out.
A recording engineer pushed the studio itself into the spotlight. In 1966, Jerry Samuels, performing as Napoleon XIV, he built a rising panic spiral using a snare-driven rhythm, siren sounds, and a voice effect created by changing tape speed during recording.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the happy home.
The song peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and hit number 1 on the Cashbox chart. The B-side was the same track played in reverse, with a backwards printed title that looked like the label had lost its mind too.
But now you know I'm utterly mad. And they're coming to take me away, haha.
Samuels was 28, and he accidentally made one of the strangest mainstream hits of the entire decade.
To the happy home with trees and flowers and chirping birds and basket weavers who sit and smile and twiddle their thumbs.
Number 3, Sugar. Sugar by the Archies. A cartoon band knocked real rock stars off the mountaintop. Produced by Jeff Berry and sung by Ron Dante, Sugar sounded like pure bubblegum, but it was engineered like a weapon.
I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true.
In September 1969, it began a 4-week run at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, replacing the Rolling Stones' Honky Tonk Women.
I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too.
I just can't believe it's true.
The single sold over 6 million copies and became Billboard's number 1 song of 1969. Dante was 24, and his voice became famous worldwide without most listeners knowing his face.
Ah, sugar. Ah, honey, honey.
It was goofy in concept, but deadly serious in execution, and that contradiction is exactly why it conquered radio. Number 2, Shaddap You Face by Joe Dolce Music Theater. A fake Italian scolding routine turned into a genuine international takeover. Joe Dolce, American-born and Australia-based, delivered Shaddap You Face like a stage monologue set to a bouncy sing-along rhythm.
I can't keep no kicks, got to follow the stupid rules. Boy, to make me sick.
And the joke traveled faster than anyone could have predicted. The song reached number 1 on the UK singles chart on February 21, 1981, and it stayed there for 3 weeks.
Hey, gotta know respect. What do you think you do? Why you looking so sad?
It also hit number 1 in multiple countries, and it became famous in the UK for keeping Ultravox Vienna from reaching the top spot. The track was goofy on purpose, and the world rewarded the commitment.
Why you looking so sad? It's a not so bad. It's a nicer place. Shut up.
Number 1, Macarena by Los del Rio. A regional Spanish dance tune turned into a worldwide routine that packed weddings, gyms, and office parties with synchronized arms. Los del Rio, Antonio Romero, and Rafael Ruiz had been performing together since the early 1960s, but the Macarena story did not truly ignite globally until the Bayside Boys remix era. The Bayside Boys version hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in August 1996 and stayed there for 14 weeks. It spent 60 weeks on the Hot 100 overall, and it became one of the most successful Latin recordings ever, with global sales measured in the tens of millions. It was goofy, communal, and impossible to resist, which made it the perfect final word.